Yeah. Making the mind pure, it reduces the noise of the mind. And when all this noise gets reduced, one comes to recognize oneself. Because in the deep silence, in the deep purity, one comes to realize oneself as we are. That Kshetrajna is recognized in his full glory. At present, the Kshetrajna is identified with the Kshetra. And because of this identification, we can't recognize ourselves as we are. We are the Kshetrajna, but we have identified with the Kshetra. So in order to recognize that Kshetra, it is a Kshetrajna, these values are important. So what exactly are the qualities of the Kshetrajna? Because till now, Bhagwan has explained what is Kshetra, and he explained what is Jnanam. But with this Jnanam, what is that which we have to know? We have to know the Kshetrajna. And what is the nature of the Kshetrajna? So that Bhagwan now indicates in the following verses, very important verses. Bhagwan indicates the Kshetrajna. Let us chant. Neyam yattat pravakshami yajñātvā mritamashnute anādimat param brahma na sattanna saduchyate Nyeyam yattat pravakshami yajñātvā mritamashnute yanādimat param brahma. Neyam. The Kshetrajna is indicated here as Neyam. Neyam is that which has to be known, that which has to be realized, that which has to be recognized. So Kshetrajna is the witness of our body. Idam shariram kaunteya kshetram iti abhidhiyate etad yo vettitam prahuhu kshetrajneti tadvidaha. So Kshetrajna is the seer or the knower or the witness of this body. So it is what it is seeing all the time. But the seer is not seeing itself. The seer is not knowing itself. So here we have to shift our attention to the seer, to that witness itself, and recognize it as it is. So what are its characteristics? That is now indicated here. So neyam yattat pravakshami. Bhagavan says, I will tell you, hey Arjuna, what is this neyam? Prakarshena vakshami. I will tell you very well. Listen very carefully. And having known, having recognized the Kshetrajna yourself, having recognized this, what will happen? Yad jnatva amrutam ashnute. One attains the state of immortality. One becomes immortal because one is immortal. Now because we are identified with the body, and the body constantly changes, we feel we are changing. The body dies, we feel we are dying. The body has disease, we feel we are sick. The body has some shape, we feel we have that shape. So identification with the Kshetra is causing all sorrow and pain. But when we come to recognize ourselves as we are, we will gain that state of immortality, because the Kshetrajna is immortal. There is no death for you. You are deathless. That Atma or Kshetrajna has got no death. It has got no birth. It is not limited by time or space. So one who knows one's own self, Amrutam Ashnute, enjoys or attains that state of immortality. So having promised that he will indicate the Neyam, and also having told what is the gain, result of knowing your own self, now Bhagavan says, he indicates Anadimat Param Brahma. What is that Kshetrajna? It is Anadimat. Anadimat means it has got no beginning. It is beginningless. It is beginningless means it is causeless. It always is there. See, that which has got a beginning will also have an end, and that which has got a beginning was not there before. That which has got a beginning did not exist before, therefore it had a beginning. But this Kshetrajna is Brahma only, Param Brahma, and it is Anadimat, beginningless, causeless, always is. And it is also indicated as na sat tan nasaduchyate. It cannot be called sat, it cannot be indicated, or it cannot be understood or comprehended as sat, as existing, by using the word existing, and also by the word non-existing. Now this little subtle thing. Like any object of this world, we can call it as existing, or we can say it doesn't exist. But here, these terms, it exists or it doesn't exist, even those terms cannot touch that supreme reality. Now, to understand this, let us use some example, because with the help of some example, it will become very clear. All of you are ready for example? Yes, a very nice example. I like my own examples. Just imagine the sky at night, no moon, only maybe the stars are there, no clouds, and the sky, the night sky, and some few stars are there in the sky. And the whole thing is dark, like you are in some desert or some place, or the lights have gone off, and the entire place is dark except the stars which are shining in the sky. So it appears that that sky is dark. It appears that the sky is dark. But really speaking, the sky is not dark. It is flooded with light. Now this you may not appreciate. The whole sky is flooded with light. And how do we know? For example, when we see the moon. See, the moon is just a rock, big huge rock. It has got no light of its own. If it is in dark place, it will not be seen at all. It cannot be seen if it is kept in a dark place. Goes in the sky, we can see the moon. How can we see the moon? Because the light which is flooding the entire place is also flooding that moon. I have brought some experiment also, because this is very important. If you understand this, then everything will become very clear. I will tell you then what is light and what is that. Now, for example, I am putting this light in front of me. Can you see? Don't look up. Look at my face. Can you see a red light near my face? No, but it is there. Now you will see when I put my finger, here it is. See, you can see the red light? Yeah. So it is there, but when my finger has come, then that light gets revealed. But without the finger, the light is not revealed. That doesn't mean it is not there. This finger is like kshetra, and the light which is reflected is kshetrajna. But the real nature of the kshetrajna is not the light which is reflected, but this, which is not seen also. It is quite amazing. And this is experience, our self is experience, or the kshetrajna is experience as I am. Each one of us, when we experience our own existence, not existence of the body, not existence of the mind, not existence of your senses, but that existence which has remained constant right from your birth till now, even when the body has changed, even when the mind has changed, there is a presence or sense of being which is there. I am. That is kshetrajna. It is the witness of our body, mind, intellect. It is the witness of the waking, dream, deep sleep. It is the witness. It doesn't perform any action. That I, the kshetrajna, is not an actor. It doesn't perform any action, but it just illumines. It illumines the senses, it illumines the body, it illumines the mind, and when it illumines all this, they become alive. They appear to be alive. Just as when the light falls on my finger, the finger appears to be having a light. Otherwise, it doesn't have a light. But when the light falls on it, it appears to have a light. So that light on the finger illumines the finger, and with the help of that light, I can illumine other things around it also. Similarly, that pure consciousness, which is all pervading, which cannot be termed with any name or any form, is like the light which is unseen. That pure consciousness is like that unseen light which is present but which cannot be understood as existing or as non-existing also. But when it is associated with some object, then it expresses as consciousness, conscious of something. I become conscious of. So that conscious of something is that kshetrajna associated with the form. But here Bhagavan is talking about understanding the kshetrajna in its real nature, and that is free from all forms, free from all objects. Objectless, pure consciousness. No object. And how do we know? So at present we have our awareness of our own self. I am, I am. When you focus your attention on that pure I am, that I am is associated at present with the body. It is illumining the body. It is illumining the mind. But if you focus your attention on that and try to see it, try to recognize it, or try to be with it and understand it free from all this body, mind, intellect, it is your real self. It is your ultimate, that supreme reality. What you are in reality, that Brahma. Understand? It doesn't die. It doesn't get affected with the change in body. Even when the body falls, actually it is just outer cover of that body falls, but the inner, that mind, intellect, it continue to be there. So the reflection of the consciousness is constantly there. But when once one comprehends that pure consciousness, one becomes free from all this bondage. One suddenly comes to realize that I alone am there in all the objects, in all the beings. It's like that flood of light. Even when the moon is moving in the sky, it is not that it is carrying the light. It is just moving, and wherever it moves, the light is there to illuminate. Light is everywhere. Even if you send one satellite, artificial, it will start glowing in the light of the sun. Some of our satellites actually glow at night and it looks like stars. So, in me, in you, that reality is shining like consciousness. But even where no objects are there, the reality is there. I am there, even where there are no objects, even where there are no beings. I exist everywhere. So that is indicated here as Param Brahma. You think about it. And the more you think, the more you contemplate on it, it is like a flash of lightning that understanding will happen. Anadimat Param Brahma. Bhagavan says, I am that Neya or this Kshetrajna is Brahma, Param Brahma. This is just a name given to the Kshetrajna. Brahma means that which is big, that which is large, that which is infinite. Because we Kshetrajna, we feel that it might be only confined to this body. No. It is just as this light which cannot be seen, it requires an object for it to be seen. But without the object, it is not seen. So the reality shines forth as consciousness because through an object, through the body. But when there is no body, it doesn't shine forth as consciousness, but it is there as pure existence. So that cannot be indicated by the worldly words like it exists or it doesn't exist. Because this asti, nasti, these words we use for objects of this world. Something exists and something doesn't exist. So na tat san, na sattan na saduchyate. So it cannot be called as sat and cannot be called as asat also. That is that Parabrahma. That is the real nature of Kshetrajna. Devoid of all body, devoid of all conditioning. Now, when we hear this, we are amazed. And sometimes people might say that, oh, if it cannot be called as Sat and cannot be called as Asat also, then maybe it doesn't exist. Bhagavan says, no, it exists. And how do you know it exists? Very beautifully he says now in the next verse, Sarvata panipadam tata Sarvatokshishiro mukham Sarvata shrutimaloke Sarvamavrutya tishtati Sarvata panipadam Sarvatokshishiro mukham. Again, when we go back to our example, in the dark night sky, when we look, we don't see the whole space flooded with light. But when some object is there, see, object, that word object is also very beautiful. It objects to the light which is already there. It just comes as an object. And when that object is there, that light gets reflected. And the reflected light we see. So that supreme cannot be named, cannot be seen, cannot be objectified. It is not objectified. It is the pure subject. To know anything, we have to objectify it.